Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for UFC on FuelTV 10, Nogueira versus Werdum 2, which happens on happens on June 8th. Card overall, like a lot of people are down on this card, but I actually like it. I think the undercard is just full of prospects, which is really nice. Got a fun fight with Fabricio versus Thiago Silva. Haunted Jason, he always has fun fights, Erick Silva's on the card. So, I think this is actually not the worst card. I mean, on paper, it's a lot of guys that people generally don't know. But for the most part, like I said, I'm looking at this card mainly for the prospects. So, yeah. Let's get right to it. Rodrigo Nogueira fights Fabricio Werdum. Nogueira's coming off that win over Dave Herman. But the guy's 37 years old. 21 of his wins are by sub. I mean, he has 3 wins by KO. One of them's against Brendan Schaub. This guy's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills are top-notch. His boxing is solid. Defensively, it's not the best, but his chin is really good. Only problem is, people have been able to crack his chin. Frank Mir, Cain Velasquez. And he's something more or less just, kind of past his prime. You can just kind of see that he's just a lot slower than he used to be. Werdum, though, I mean, he's on a 2-fight win streak, trains at King's MMA. He's one of the top Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in the world. But as you can see in his previous fights, Mike Russell, he knocked him out with an kind of cold, with an uppercut. And then if you watch the Roy Nelson fight, I mean, he mainly beat him up with his Muay Thai, especially those knees. Werdum, despite the highlight reel knockout loss against Junior Dos Santos, he's actually shown a really good chin throughout his career. I mean, I believe that's his only time he's been finished, if I'm not mistaken, is against Junior Dos Santos, and it's Junior Dos Santos. He's really good. Period. Werdum's really good off his back. I got Werdum winning this. Jeez. I got Werdum winning this one. I think at this point, he has a better stand-up. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wise, it can go either way. I mean, Werdum, at this point, I would say is probably the better practitioner at this point. I don't think there's too much argument there. Stand-up goes to Werdum. He's not, he doesn't look to have, slowed down a whole bunch, unlike Nogueira. So, I'll go with Werdum to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, we have the Ultimate Fighter Brazil 2 tournament final, as you have Leonardo Santos versus William Patolino Macario. This one's kind of tough for me to call. I didn't watch too much Ultimate Fighter Brazil 2, to be honest. I know that Patolino, undefeated, 6-0. He's definitely a prospect, only 21 years old. Kind of looks like Melvin Gillard. In a way, kind of fights like him, too. 5 of his wins by KO and 1 win by sub. He does have KO power. He is a finisher. His grappling's actually improving, too. I was seeing some of his previous fights. He's working on some offensive wrestling. Cardio, he's never actually been past the second round in pro MMA bouts. And of course, it's his first fight in the UFC. So it's hard to say where his cardio really is. Leonardo Santos, 11-3 record, 1 win by KO, 7 wins by sub. Very accomplished Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. I believe, he's gone up against George St. Pierre even. Won awards, won a whole bunch of, I forgot forgot which competitions he won, but he's won a good amount of competitions. Something of a journeyman, though. I mean, he is on a 5-fight win streak. He's 33 years old, and he trains at Nova União. So it's kind of tough for me to call because I don't know if Patalino can defend the takedowns, and once he's on the ground, I mean, Santos is a lot better. And the stand-up, though, it's all Patalino. Age-wise, obviously, I mean, Patalino is much younger. I'll go with the guy with more upside here. We'll go with Patalino to win this one. The next fight after that, Rafael Cavalcante fights Thiago Silva. Both these guys are really big for the weight class, you know. Interesting stat here. Thiago Silva, his last official win was on August 29th, 2009 against Keith Jardine. I mean, he beat Nedkov despite getting the no contest, you know. I mean, you know, he wasn't roiding or anything. It was for marijuana. But Thiago Silva, you know, 14-3 record with 2 no contests. 11 of those wins are by KO or TKO. He's 30 years old and trains at the Brazilians. He's a Muay Thai brawler, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. His offensive takedowns are pretty good. His defense is actually not that great. He's never been a good defensive fighter. I mean, I remember he's getting head kicked by this guy named something Mendez. Jeez, I forgot his name. But, like, and, you know, he kept getting dropped there. Got dropped by Nedkov. Of course, Machida took him to the woodshed, you know. Feijão, 11-3 record with 1 no contest. 10 of those wins are by KO or TKO and 1 win by sub. He trains at Team Nogueira. He's a former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion. Heavy-handed guy. Notable wins over like King Mo. Good Muay Thai, really good knees. Another, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He actually has a really good takedown defense. And against King Mo, he's even showed, like, that he's good at getting back to his feet when he is taken down. I think I gotta go with Feijão here, you know. I think he just has the stronger technical Muay Thai. Ground game probably would cancel each other out. But yeah, I'll go with Feijão to win this one. Okay, next one after that, we have Jason High versus Erick Silva. High's not going to win the stand-up. He's not going to win the stand-up here, but it's not his game anyways. You know, Jason High is on a 7-fight win streak, trains on American Top Team. And his game, I mean, it really is takedown, top control, uses Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His hands are getting better, but it's definitely not his strength. Erick Silva, really good prospect in the division, despite losing to John Fitch. It's John Fitch. He's a tough guy to beat, and Erick Silva for the first 2 rounds did pretty well against him too. 14-3 record with 1 no contest. He's 28, trains at Team Nogueira. He has good stand up. But there's always worrying with Erick Silva because he fights with his hands down. He's very explosive. He kind of explodes into his offense. So he does have good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Showed against Fitch, took his back, escaped an armbar from him, and he's shown a good ability actually to get back to his feet when he's taken down. The only thing that's questionable right now is his cardio. I can see Jason High honestly grinding this fight out. Just take down, top control, and whatnot. But, I gotta go with Erick Silva. I think he'll be able to hurt him standing. If he does get taken down, I can see him explode back to his feet. Cardio-wise, kind of worries me. But I'll go with Erick Silva to win this one. Okay, next one after that, we have Eddie Mendez versus Daniel Sarafian. Mendez, he has a 7-1 record with 1 draw and 1 no contest. 3 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He's fighting Strikeforce, actually. He's on a 2-fight win streak, and it is his first fight in the UFC. Sarafian, 7-3 record with 6 wins by sub, 1 win by decision. He's 30 years old. Stand-up was pretty good against CB Dalloway, actually. It kind of has this, like, almost a karate style to stand-up in a sense. His offensive takedowns are pretty good. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is solid as well. Even when he was on the bottom, I've seen him do like half guard sweeps. You saw that against like CB Dalloway, for example. But his cardio isn't the greatest. I mean, he is, I think they're fighting at 185 here, if I'm not mistaken. But Sarafian would be better fit at 170. He's just really big, muscular in that weight class. Regardless of that, I'll go Daniel Sarafian to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, Honey Jason Bezerra fights Mike Wilkinson from Tough Smashes. Wilkinson, 8-0 undefeated record, 2 wins by KO, 4 wins by sub. He's 25 years old. I don't remember his fight, his UFC fight. I remember he had some pretty decent wrestling and decent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But Bezerra, 12-3 record, 29 years old, 7-fight win streak, trains at Team Nogueira. Very aggressive guy. Loved his fight against Sam Cecilia. That was a really fun one. He does have good standout, but he gets really reckless with it a lot of times. Showed a really good chin against Cecilia, and his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game is solid as well. I gotta go with Hane Jason Bezerra to win this one, or Bezerra. Okay, on to the prelim card. I don't know why this fight's really happening, because I have Rafael Assunção versus Von Lee. Nothing against Von Lee, but, Assunção is like now a top 10 guy, coming off that win over Mike Easton, Assunção, 19-4 record, 3 wins by KO, 9 wins by sub. He's 30 years old on a solid 3-fight win streak. He's good in the clinch. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Stand-up's just kind of it's kind of funny because I believe it was Jack Slack who had a breakdown of Assunção versus like Easton, and that's pretty much Assunção beating Mike Easton with like really bad stand up. It's not like horrible, but it's average at best, to be honest with you. And finally, 13-8 record with 1 draw, 4 wins by KO, 7 wins by sub. There's a lot of like 5 losses by sub as well. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu's good, decent wrestling as well, good top control. But I gotta go with Assunção. Stylistically, I think he's a better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. He's good in the clinch, more experience against high level guys. So yeah, I'll go with Assunção to win this one. Next fight after that, we have Derek Brunson versus Honey Marks. This fight, excuse me. This fight has a making to be kind of boring. Stylistically, these guys are top control, grinding type of fighters. Derek Brunson trains at Jackson's, 29 years old. Good wrestler, it's good top control. Stand-up's just alright. Average at best, defensively, not the greatest. Got knocked out. I think the only guy so far to get knocked out by Jacare. But Jacare, to his credit, is really improving his stand-up. Honey Marks, 14-1 record, 5 wins by KO, 4 wins by sub. He's only 25 years old on a 7-fight win streak. He trains at Nova União Kimura, and he is humongous for 185. He's a big for a weight class. Also has good wrestling, good top control. And his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is good, but Tony Brown, this guy doesn't take any risk. I've seen some of his other fights. His Muay Thai is not that bad. His stand-up really isn't that bad. He just, if you watch, the Andrew Craig fight, for example, it's man, or, the Carlos Vamala fight, it's I think that was his first fight in the UFC, and, the way he fought Carlos Vamala is, this same way he fought, Andrew Craig, so it's a bit disappointing because Honey Marks is a good prospect, and he does have legit skills everywhere, and he's huge for the weight class. It's just he doesn't seem to use them. You know, he's very content with coasting. You know, takedown, top control. Doesn't really go for submissions. Doesn't take too many risks or anything like that. Hopefully it'll change because he is a good prospect, and I have him winning this one. So next fight after that, we got Godofredo Pepe Castro versus Felipe Arantes. With Pepe, I don't think he won his last fight against Milton Vieira, to be honest with you. He has a 9-1 record. 2 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by sub. He does have some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His stand-up is kind of, you know, average to below average, to be honest with you. It's not his strength. With Arantes, though, just a pretty good, well-rounded fighter. One thing that is worrisome, though, is he last fought against Milton Vieira, actually, and he got a draw against him was June 2012, so he'll be out for a year. 14-4 record with 1 draw and 2 no contests, 6 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by sub. He's 25 years old. Trains at like Shoot the Box and Macario Gold Team. You know, a good all-around fighter. I remember, you know, he lost against Yuri Alcantara, but Yuri Alcantara is just really good. Came back and beat Antonio Carvalho. You know, showed better striking, hung in the ground with him as well. I'll go with Felipe Arantes to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, we have Eldemar Alcantara versus Leandro Buscape Silva. It is Leandro's first fight in the UFC. He's 11-0 with 1 draw, 7 wins by sub, 4 wins by decision. He's on a 5-fight win streak. He has some solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. The thing with him, though, is he usually fights at 155, but he's fighting at 170 here. And Alcantara, in his last fight, he fought at 205, and he's getting down to 170. He's going to be the much bigger fighter here. 18-5 record, 10 wins by KO TKO, 6 wins by sub. He's on an 8-fight win streak. Decent stand-up, you know. I mean, he's getting tagged by a lot, actually. Jeez, I forgot the guy's name he fought in his last fight, but managed to win with a knee bar. You know, it's a sneaky submission game. You know, and some decent stand-up though. You know, because it's just got it's Silva's first fight in the UFC, and Alcantara's just going to be so much bigger than him too. I think I gotta go with Eldemar Alcantara to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, Rodrigo Dam fights Mizuto Hirota. You know, I'm not really, excuse me, not really impressed with Rodrigo Dam, to be honest with you. I mean, his stand-up can get kind of reckless. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, though. And he really goes for it, you know. He's pushes forward a lot, you know. But Hirota, you know, 14-6 record with 1 draw. 8 wins by KO TKO, 6 wins by decision. He's 32. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, though, so that's a bit concerning. Stand-up's not too bad. Just average, you know. He has a good left hand. Did really well against, like, Pat Healy. Didn't have much against Hani Yaya, though. But he actually showed that he was pretty good in the clinch against him as well. I gotta go with Hirota to win this one. Okay, next right after that, Kyle Magalash fights Carlos Belmala. Both these guys are lower tier fighters. The only fight I've seen of Kyle Magalash was against Buddy Roberts. Wasn't terribly impressed with the guy, to be honest with you. He's 5-1 record, 1 win by TKO, 2 wins by sub. He's 25 years old. Trains at Dragon Fight and Nova União. His stand-up, honestly, just when he fought Buddy Roberts, he just did not look good at all. And the stand-up, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is pretty good, though. Belmala, he's not the best fighter, but he's fun. I like this guy a lot because he's just he has like this Hulk smash mentality. 9-3 record, 4 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by sub. So he is a finisher. 27 years old. He trains at London Shoot Fighters. Always pushes forward. He's kind of a brawler, very aggressive, big for the weight class. This guy used to fight at heavyweight. You know, defense kind of sucks. His cardio sucks, but you know what? I'm not impressed with Kyle Magalash, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go with Vamala to win this one. It's I think his pressure might be able to win out here. Like I said, haven't been that impressed with Magalash, to be perfectly honest with you. And finally, we have Antonio Braga Neto versus Anthony Smith. Looking forward to Braga Neto's UFC debut, actually. He's a guy I've kept my eye on. Saw his fight against Michal Falco. He's getting beat up, actually. I think he got swept, too, and you know, he managed to pull off the win. Nonetheless, strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, trains at Gracie Fusion. 3-fight win streak, 25 years old. Good wrestling, too. Good chin. Good test here, too. Anthony Smith, 17-9 record. 8 wins by KO TKO, 8 wins by sub. Most of his losses, too, or either most or all of his losses are by finish, if I'm not mistaken. With Anthony Smith, you know, he has solid kickboxing skills. His ground game actually isn't too bad. I mean, against these much better grapplers like the Hoger, you know, up against Hoger Gracie, you know, yeah, Hoger Gracie's gonna tap out anyone. And Neto, the same, you know, same thing. He's just such a high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. I expect him to be able to get the fight to the ground, possibly even submit Anthony Smith. So I'm going to go with Antonio Braga Neto to win this one. Okay, to recap the main card, I have Werdum beating Nogueira, Patolino Macario beating Leonardo Santos, Rafael beating Thiago Silva, Erick Silva beating Jason High, Daniel Sarafian beating Eddie Mendez, and Honey Jason beating Mike Wilkinson. On the prelims, I have Rafael beating Von Lee, Honey Marks beating Derek Brunson, Felipe Arantes beating Godofredo Pepe, Ildemar Alcantara beating Leandro Silva, Rodrigo Mizuto Hirota beating Rodrigo Dam, Carlos Vamala beating Kyle Magalash, and Antonio Braga Neto beating Anthony Smith. So that's it for my predictions for UFC on FuelTV 10. If you guys have any comments, just leave them below, and that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.